It's an honor for us at localbozo.com to have with us as our guest for an exclusive interview, frontman of the iconic rock band Jane's Addiction, Perry Farrell. Perry, thanks so much for giving us some time today.
Okay, my pleasure.
Perry, it's almost unfathomable to think that Jane's Addiction is now in its third decade. As you look back on the past 25 years or so, in between some different departures and hiatuses, what's the lasting legacy of one of rock music's most influential bands?
Well, I guess the lasting legacy is going to be how we change the direction of the sound and the look of music, coming from your kind of cheeseball hair metal that was pervasive through the late 80s, going into the early 90s, and shattered that mold, and replaced it with what they call now alt rock, basically the alternative to all that cheese. And it was a very, very wide door that we opened. When we opened it with Lollapalooza and Jane's Addiction, there was a different look, a different sound, and we were playing amongst other groups that also had very different looks, very different sounds than traditional blues-based rock. And but it was accepted, and it was hailed, and it was attended by all the people of that generation, and it showed the music industry that there was, yes, indeed, an audience for alternative music.
Back in October, the band released The Great Escape Artist. It's the band's first full-length album in about 8 years, showing the band's more melodic and experimental side in writing and recording, but staying true to the band's signature sound. While the release of the new album is typically the end of the creative process for the artist, what's been the most rewarding part of finishing up and touring on the last record?
Well, I think that it was just the style and just the kind of the vibration that we had on the record. We were able to transfer that into our live performances. It's kind of I don't want to call it macabre. Let's call it, darkness. Let's call it embracing the darkness. That's kind of what the sound of this record is. It's an embracing of the darkness, the darker side of life, dancing within that side of life, romancing the darkness. And it's really it's kind of a lovely feeling. It's a little bit like being, it's a little bit like getting high. You know what I mean? When you get to go out there and perform these songs, they just feel so good. They give me a nice feeling of warmth in my body, even though some of them are, darker subjects, but there's something romantic about it.
On the touring front, the band is making stops locally in New Brunswick, New Jersey at the State Theater on Sunday, August 12th, and in Brooklyn at Williamsburg Park on Friday, August 17th. As somebody who essentially grew up here in New York, what's this sort of homecoming like for you? I mean, is it still special for you to play here?
Oh, yeah, it's very special for me to come to New York City and to perform. I was born in New York, and my first memories of music all come from listening to, Murray the K, 77 WABC. He was a big disc jockey back in those days, and that was during the time of the British invasion and Beatlemania, and was just learning about rock and roll through my big brother and big sister, and who collected 45s, and we'd sit out on the porch, in the neighborhood and play music as loud as you could play it, and all their friends and boyfriends and girlfriends would come over, and I was just infatuated with music at that time at a very early age. Because I was probably 3 or 4 years old. So to be able to return and be one of the people that, maybe the next generation or the generation following would have grown up on or, fallen in love with, it means a lot to me. it's like living a strange kind of a dream.
Perry, you've managed to co-brand yourself as a rock star, but also as a guy who wears many different hats as it pertains to business, including spawning and being a major player in the Lollapalooza festival year after year, not to mention your involvement in different advocacy issues. How important has it been for you on a personal level to utilize your celebrity for good, considering it seems like more high-profile people could learn a thing or two by following your lead?
Well, I kind of go back and forth about that because on one hand, I like the fact that I've got, some muscle and some flexibility going into, philanthropic work because of my celebrity. At the same time, I feel a little awkward because I was taught that when you do charity, you should pretty much do it anonymously. So I'm really still trying to find my way around and about doing philanthropic work and charity work because on one hand, I realize that I do get the leg up by being the celebrity that I am, and at the same time, I feel a little awkward, to be honest with you, throwing the celebrity around or taking credit for anything, as an example, to me, the best form of charity would be, and don't think that I haven't done this, but the best way to do it is do it anonymously. And it should hurt a little bit. It shouldn't be so easy. In other words, you shouldn't gain something from it additionally for having done the charity. So there you go.
Well, at the very least, I think your impact has drawn national attention to issues that wouldn't have gotten it otherwise. So I definitely think there's something to be said for that as well.
Sure. I mean, like I say, I'm still finding my way. But as I get older, I think that, one way to look at it is you don't have much time left, so you better get busy. That might be my approach.
Speaking of Lollapalooza, it returns to Grant Park in Chicago this year on the weekend of August 3rd, and once again it's a sellout. And this year it's got as eclectic a lineup as any, from the Chili Peppers and B.O.B. to Frank Ocean and M83, plus a special Jane's Addiction show at the Aragon Ballroom on the Saturday. Now you guys really seem to hit your stride in putting together just a wildly successful and respected festival every year. What's been the biggest challenge for you in being able to pull all this off?
Well, I guess the biggest challenge is to try to stay on top of it. Now we've gone international with it, and we're in South America, and we're just about to announce yet another location that we're going to be putting Lollapalooza up next year. And so, maintaining the quality control is been difficult because there are so many of them, and as you might not know this, but we have in Chicago 150 acts. So that's a lot of talent to kind of organize and select. Now you do that times 4, because now we're going to be in 4 locations, and staying on top of the meetings and who's available, and that's been a bit of a challenge. Also, the production around the world, we have to stay on top of the production as well. We want our patrons to feel as comfortable as possible, to have the best food that they possibly can, and we also want our artists to have the same great experience. So the backstage has got to be as amazing as the front, the whole front of house. So, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and all that I'm staying on top of while I'm out on tour with Jane's Addiction. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming.
Now, Jane's Addiction has dates lined up through the middle of September. Where does the band go from there? I mean, can we expect a worldwide tour in the late fall, or are you guys really just itching to get back into the studio?
Yeah, the plan is as soon as we get off the road, we begin writing our next record, and I'd like to give it a 6-month window and just get another Jane's record out. Coming off the heels of the Great Escape Artist. I think that's the way to do it for us. I don't think we'll wait 8 years to do another record. We didn't plan on getting back together, so that was part of, we had broken up. So that was part of the reason that we took so long. But these days, the best thing that an artist can do or a group can do is stay busy and stay on the trail, and that's what our plan is.
Perry, can't thank you enough for a couple minutes today. Is there anything else you'd like to leave for the readers of localbozo.com?
No, I think we're good for now, man. I just can't wait to see you all in the flesh. And those moments. I mean, recording is fantastic, but nothing is going to replace the memory of having witnessed and having been a part of the community of music, getting together, and we all are getting high together with music and whatever else.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to have you guys here. Fans, The Great Escape Artist, the latest release from Jane's Addiction, is available now wherever you pick up your rock music. Make sure to catch the band locally at Williamsburg Park on Friday, August 17th, and tickets are available now. For more information on where you can catch the band and tour dates, check out janesaddiction.com. And we've been speaking with rock icon Perry Farrell. Thanks so much for your time today on localbozo.com, and best of luck with everything you have in store for 2012.
My pleasure, and say a special hello to Bensonhurst, which is where my family comes from.
All right, thanks, Perry. We really do appreciate it.